Okay, so this video is going to be talking about dividing polynomials, and more specifically, binomials. So dividing by something that has two terms, okay? I had mentioned it in class how sometimes division can be represented in this format. If we notice this is a -1, the way I get rid of this -1 is by grabbing all of this inside the parentheses and putting that putting it under 1. So this is the same thing as that. Okay, and if I were to just write this out again, and multiply this times this, well, I'm multiplying all of this times 1 and then dividing it by this. So that's just a fancy way of showing that you're dividing. Okay, so this is my numerator, this is my denominator. Okay, so my denominator goes outside, or like I said, the cowboy rides the horse, and when he gets to the house, the cowboy sleeps inside the house and the horsey sleeps outside. Let me just erase this so I have room. Okay. And we have x to the 5th power minus 4x cubed plus 4x squared. Now this is written wrong. I know you're gonna want to go straight into this, but I mentioned in class that if it skips a degree, or talking about the exponents, like it did here, it went from 5 to 3. Okay, I have to put a placeholder. So instead of continuing here, I need an x to the 4th. So I can say plus 0. Now this sign doesn't really matter. I usually always write a plus sign because it's going to be 0 to the 4th. Okay, I have to the 3rd is this one, so minus 4x to the 3rd. Okay, it's in order, plus 4x squared. Okay, but I also need an x and a constant. Okay, so plus 0x and then plus 0. I know it looks weird, but it's needed in order to divide, right? To do the long division. Okay, so there we have it. We start with a power of 5, then move down 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Okay. So now I ask myself, I always start with the first term. X times what gives me x to the 5th? And then once I find that, then I'm going to multiply by the second. Okay, so this is how it works. So x times x to the 4th. So x times x to the 4th gives me x to the 5th. So I'm going to write that here. Notice that I placed this variable, I placed it here under the same degree. Just helps keep everything organized. Okay, so once I found that number or variable, then I go to the second term. -4 times x to the 4th would be -4x to the 4th. Okay, once I multiply by both, then I can subtract, because that's, and don't forget that this subtraction goes to both this term and that term every single time. So this would be 0, and then here would be 0x to the 4th plus 4x to the 4th. So this would be a positive x to the 4th because of this negative being distributed. Okay, and then I bring the next term down for x I ask myself the same question again. X times what gives me 4x to the fourth? Well, I need to multiply by a 4 and x, and I need it to get to 4, so this is x. I need 3 more. So x times 4x cubed gives me 4x to the fourth. Okay, now I go to the second term. Negative 4 times the term I just put up there, 4x cubed, would be negative 16x cubed. Again, don't forget this step. Okay, this would be 0. And then this would be a positive 16 minus 4 would be 12x cubed. And bring the next term down. 4 times 12x squared. 12x squared. If I multiply these two, I get this one. Okay, now I go to the second term. Negative 4 times 12x squared would be a negative 48. Negative 48 x squared. Zero. And then this would be a positive, so then I would get 52x squared. Then I'll bring the next term down, which is 0x. X times a positive 52 is an x squared. So I need another x. That will give me 52x squared. I go to the second term, negative 4 times 52x would be negative 208 x. And this would be a positive, so that would be positive 208 x. And finally, the last term would be plus 0. Okay, so then I would have to multiply by positive 208. X times 208 gives me 208x. Go to the second term. Negative 4 times 208. Negative 4 times 208. I believe that is 832. So 208 times a negative 4. That would be 32, 3, and 8. So negative 4, the second term, negative 4 times 208 would be a negative 832. And I do the same thing that I've been doing. This would be 0, right? And then this would be a positive 832, which is my remainder. Now let me show you how to write that remainder, okay? This is called my quotient. So, right here, so this is called your quotient. And this, whatever you're left over with, is your remainder. So the way we write that is you write out your quotient and you say, let me change colors here. Just rewrite what you got there. X to the fourth plus 4x cubed plus 12x squared plus 52x plus 208. And then we write our remainder. Now the remainder we always write it as a numerator to the x, whatever you're dividing by. So the x minus 4. Okay, so your remainder is always put at the end, and it's always divided by whatever you're dividing to start with. And that is it. That is your answer.